Today, Samsung unveiled two new flagship phones. So the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus and the Galaxy Note 5. So both phones are big, 5.7-inch displays, upgraded hardware. They're also more expensive than last year's phones and more expensive than Apple's iPhone. Author of Appetize on Your Idea, Justin Esgar is here, and Keep.com CEO Scott Kernet. Wonderful to see you both. So does Samsung have a death wish? Since I'm just throwing these big terms, Scott, I'm going to ask you first. This is crazy to me to make the product more expensive than Apple's.
Well, we're going to buy it through the carrier, so what the ultimate price is, we'll see, right? So that's really how, in America, we buy most of our phones. I would agree. Apple has the ecosystem. Samsung doesn't. Samsung is obviously, I think, the inferior operating system.
For handsets, it's the underdog.
It is the underdog, so it'll be interesting to see. There's parts of what they're doing. Better camera. The Edge has stuff that's interesting. The stylus.
If you're watching movies,
I mean,
sure.
The thought of a stylus to me is, very backwards. But when you see certain kinds of users want to do that, I think that they'll pick up those kind of users because the iPhone doesn't even think about a stylus.
So, Justin, what is your take? In addition to what Scott mentioned, you can also post video directly to Google's YouTube, and this just reinforces Android power, or let's say non-Apple presence.
I think it's just like an extra feature to get people into their ecosystem. Right now, between Samsung and Apple, it's who can beat one another out by millimeters. Samsung's trying to get ahead of the curve before Apple makes their announcement later this year on what their new iPhone's going to be. And that's all. It's just a back and forth between them. And the weirdest part is that Apple relies on Samsung to make parts for their iPhone, and then Samsung goes and makes these, and then one of them sues each other, and it's kind of just a mess.
Scott, speaking of Apple TV, apparently, according to sources, Bloomberg is one saying that they're going to delay this streaming service till 2016. But just, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks ago, we heard from CBS's Les Moonves saying, yeah, our content's going to be streaming on Apple, and he seemed pretty optimistic. But it seems like there's some pretty tough negotiations. For Apple
there would be. I mean, the television business is
entrenched.
It's topsy-turvy. I mean, we're seeing that NBC is going to invest $200 million in both BuzzFeed and in Vox. So everything's kind of upside down. So the fact that they were able to negotiate with CBS, and CBS has been pretty innovative. Of late, they were late. They were late to the cable game. So it's one thing for Apple to get those deals, but to get the rest of the deals, there's the Hulu issue, there's the Comcast issue, obviously because of cable ownership. I think that they can wait. They need to bring something special. I think with music, they're getting kind of slammed for not being special.
And I was going to say, this is the point, right? They're supposed to curate content for TV. In other words, make a kind of clunky experience between your cable box and maybe you want to be emailing at the same time. They're supposed to do for TV what they did for
Apple's supposed to do stuff that's better than the way other people do it. And I think that they're probably feeling some sting that their music service isn't enough better. This is a company that has magic at its core. And when it releases something that isn't, that dings everything. That dings everything they do. So if a 20-channel TV service over the top is not rocket science to do, it's mostly about rights. What can they do to make it special? And if they have to wait 6 months or a year to do that, I think that's smart.
Okay, startups competing to build a kind of Uber for healthcare, basically going back to house calls. Good idea, bad idea?
I think it's a good idea, but it really depends on who their market is. Healthcare is way behind the time with technology, and I would love to be able to see my grandmother use this service, but she doesn't know how to use her cell phone. So it's one of those things where if they can get the entire healthcare to move forward, then they have a chance. I mean, I go to clients now and they have paper documentation on me. There's no electronic medical records there. They really need to move forward with that first, and then maybe this can take off.
Okay. New Jersey Turnpike fire and explosion in China, both caught on smartphone cameras posted on social media. So when we talk about social media, I mean, you saw from that New Jersey Turnpike accident, some of the accident victims were actually part of the group filming and posting. What do you make of this new age of gonzo journalism?
It is the age. It's interesting. I borrowed from someone's Facebook post the other day and got a whole bunch of likes because it said basically if the Titanic was sinking today, everyone would be there taking pictures of it sinking. The
And
fact of the
nobody
matter
helping.
is, and nobody helping. So, you know, in TV crews, it's kind of like, am I part of it or am I supposed to be taping it? Everyone's now got a camera. Everyone wants to be special. Everybody wants their video either to be personal. And frankly, it is fantastic. We saw it with Twitter, obviously, with the plane that landed in the Hudson. It's the new world.
Obviously, a happier result
the new
than
world.
what we see
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You know, a lot of it with social media, everybody wants to be their own brand and they want to build it up, but there's a lot of parts it's about responsible social media and reporting certain things.
Well, we saw with the Boston Marathon case where a lot of people wanted to be helpful and they actually ended up costing the Boston police force a lot of time and false leads.
And that's the thing. It's all about being responsible with it, right? And that's the key word. There's also times where we've seen countries where the government tries to shut down the internet. People are using Twitter to tell people really what's happening there. We've seen that happen a few times now. If we can use it properly and we can get that information out to people in a sincere way, then it would totally be helpful.
Right. Well, either way, whether it's sincere or insincere, it's here.
And
so
it's
we're going to
needed.
continue the conversation. Justin and Scott back with us in just 2 minutes. We're also going to talk about oil hitting a 6-year low, in part on concerns about China's slowing economy. We are going to tell you how it relates to your gas tank. But first, a trending alert. There is a new villain in the next Star Wars flick. We'll show you some other pictures.
The dark side.
Breaking news just a few moments ago, Samsung Electronics denied a rehearing in a patent and trademark infringement case with Apple. I am back right now with my guest panelists, tech and media experts. So, Scott, I mean, these two companies have been suing each other back and forth for years. What's the final solution?
So ultimately, they will cross-license their patents and they will go about their business. So in the meantime, the lawyers make a ton of money. It slows down innovation a little bit, but not so much, because these are two innovative companies with innovative products. But the basic fact is, as we've seen with patent aggregation that Google has done with its Motorola purchase, you have to have enough intellectual property, and the other guy has his, and you just say, listen, we have to stop paying the
I was
lawyers
just
and
going
put
to
the
say,
money
so
into
Justin,
marketing.
agree to disagree? Is that what this becomes?
Yeah, almost. I mean, they're going to keep going back and forth. It's going to until somebody finally goes, you know what, enough is enough, and it's going to get to like the minutia of the details, where but this icon has a sun on one side, and our sun for the weather app is on the other side, and like it's kind of ridiculous.
In the meantime, patent lawyers everywhere rejoicing at the fees that they are just taking. So speaking of rejoicing for all Star Wars fans, big news
Which
here.
is everyone.
Which is everyone. I think so too, but you never know. You know, of course, Disney buying Lucasfilms back in the day for $4 billion in cash, and everybody was like, what? And now here's the answer. Here's some pretty cool new villain unveiled. What do you guys think of this as a franchise and Disney's investment in Lucasfilms?
Well, there's 3 more episodes to be had, so that's amazing. So we're going to see 7, 8, 9, and they're going to be spectacular. I mean, the fact that J.J. Abrams is helming this one, you get incredible franchise, incredible producer-director. It's going to be off the charts. And I actually thought it was a summer movie until I looked again and realized it's opening December 18th. So the
that's
fact that
Christmas
they're doing
bonanza,
they're
holiday
doing
bonanza.
summer, they're getting summer style promotion 6 months ahead of time. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and the Phantom Menace, right? That was a worldwide total of $1 billion.
And that wasn't even like the best one.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
And it's so funny because after that one, everyone was just like, what happened here? But then 2 and 3 came out. I think this is going to be a really good reboot. Like Scott said, with J.J. Abrams directing it, it's going to make a big difference. He did wonders for Star Trek. I know you can't really cross those two. But, you know, a quick Twitter poll of just my friends, and I was like, who's seeing it? And everyone was like,
Yeah.
yes, we're definitely seeing it. And the pictures that came out this week look amazing.
But your friends are all like nerds. They're all going to go.
No,
They're going to
all
go
of them.
first
A lot
day.
of them are entrepreneurs.
Okay, exactly.
What, those are mutually exclusive? I'm not so sure about that. Justin Esgar, Scott
The internet
Cronin,
will
thank
slow
you so
down that
much.
afternoon as everybody goes.
That day will be very
so.
quiet.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you both for the time and for the insight. When we come back, China's citizens.